Joining us now to discuss more, the former spokesperson for the Israeli consulate in New York, Shahar Azani, and foreign policy expert Harley Lippman. Gentlemen, good to see you today. Harley, I'm going to start with you and stay on what happened with this guy jumping up on the rafters here real quick while we're on the topic. Just your overall thoughts that after everything we have been through, Donald Trump being shot in the head, that somebody can make it that far on the media riser. Kind of hard to believe.
It's obviously very disturbing, and there needs to be a huge overhaul of the Secret Service and how it operates and what its procedures are, and to make this very transparent, because there are people who think there's something more sinister at work here, that maybe there's some conspiracy of some kind to take out Donald Trump. And I think there needs to be an investigation and put that to rest so that people, we hear that we know the facts, and if it's not true, we don't think that. But there's just too many questions that come out of this that need to be investigated.
In other news, we have to talk about the 6 hostages that were killed by Hamas. Shahar, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, there are now protests against him in Israel. A lot of blame being thrown his way. You even have Joe Biden, when he was asked if Bibi could have done more, he said yes, but then he doesn't go on further. Then there's this NBC News report that there could be a take it or leave it ceasefire deal, right, between Israel and Hamas. So my question to you, Shahar, is why is there all of this pressure on Israel to agree to a ceasefire? Why isn't the United States instead kind of changing their rhetoric and saying to Hamas, either release the remaining 100 hostages or God help you, what's going to happen to you next?
1,000%, Lydia and Bob, pleasure to be with you. That's indeed the question. Hamas cruelly executes 6 young Israeli hostages, shoots them in the head, in the back of the neck, and in the chest, executes them unabashedly, unapologetically. They even took responsibility and prided themselves in doing so. And the result is more appeasement towards Hamas, trying to negotiate with Satan himself, rather than coming to Hamas leaders and telling them that unless all hostages are coming out of Gaza, all hell will break loose, or else. We have seen Hamas's intransigence in the course of the last 10 months. These 6 hostages have suffered immensely and tortured at the hands of these evil terrorists. And this is definitely not the time to appease them or to give them more rewards for their year of massacre and destruction. And let me just add one more quick word. The last couple of days, and I want to relate to what's happening on the streets of Israel, have been very painful. There was no dry eye today as Hersh Goldberg Poland was laid to rest. Thousands came out to the streets waving flags of Israel, accompanying and supporting that incredible family. I think we owe it to them and to all of the 101 remaining hostages to act firmly and stand up in a moral position against evil rather than try to appease it, which simply will not work.
Harley, I asked this earlier in the show to General Blaine Holt. Something doesn't add up to me, and I feel like something is hanging over Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's head. They continue to have failed negotiations with this little terrorist group. We're the United States. So I'm finding a hard time understanding why they just don't say, listen, you're going to give these hostages back or we're going to kill you. And that's it. I'm dumbfounded. Honestly, I don't know what else to say.
Well, you're not alone. There are so many people who don't understand how you have American hostages being held by Hamas. And why are we not using the military might, as you just referred to? We are the most powerful nation on the planet. And why are we not going in ourselves to save our own people? I mean, this is just extraordinary unto itself. But I want to go on to something else, which I think is really important to point out, because, in all this that we're seeing, there's a worldwide sympathy for the Palestinians because they're blaming Israel for genocide. But the media, the national media, is not picking up the fact that Israel has provided over 1 million vaccines to prevent polio. There's been a polio outbreak in Gaza, and they're seeking to protect 640,000 Palestinian children. And why the national media doesn't talk about this is beyond me, because this speaks to Israel saving lives, which is what we've all been talking about over the year. We've been discussing this, and that Israel is not committing genocide, and that actually Israel is fighting this war more than probably any war in history, with the idea of protecting civilians more than anything else. And that's why it's going on for 10 months. Because while innocent Palestinians do get killed, it's all unintentional. It's only because they're going after the murderous Hamas, and they're trying to free the hostages, which is another factor as to why it's taking so long. It's just extraordinarily difficult. And then, of course, the tunnels, which are extraordinarily sophisticated and have all kinds of booby traps. And Israelis want to make sure that they don't kill any hostages unintentionally or have their soldiers at risk unintentionally.
All right, gentlemen, we got to leave it there. Shahar Azani, Harley Lippman, good to see you both. Stop back soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.